Yep. So we have this game, and we would like to hack the score for this game. Now the problem is this game is like HTML5 based, and like whenever and we don't have access to any variables or objects for this game. And it's not like it's a desktop game like where we can use cheat engine and scan the process and get all the values and all the memory addresses, and then we can keep comparing memory addresses after modifying our score a bit, and pinpoint the memory address and then get the memory address of our score. So um like and so we only have the browser at our disposal to hack this game. And one of the behaviors of this game is like when you when we have game over, it does a network call, and and we can just copy that network call to the postman and modify the score. But the problem is we also send a checksum, so the server sends us an invalid checksum. So what we would like to do is we would like to modify the score, and then recalculate the checksum. So we would have to reverse engineer how the checksum is calculated, and that's basically a lot of work because your code is generally minified, and it's very ugly to read, and it would take a lot of time. So what if you can modify the score before the checksum is calculated, so like you don't even have to reverse engineer the checksum algorithm or whatever they're using. You can just somehow modify the score, and the payload is created, and for the payload the checksum is created, and it goes to the server and everything is happy. So a very easy way to do this, like since we don't have any handle to a memory address or any variable, what we can do is we can see where this API call originated from, and yeah, and let me add a debugger there. So this happened here. So we have our debugger here now. Sorry, our breakpoint now, and we can just click on play. Actually, let me reload this once. Yeah. So this is where your network calls go. Like one network calls happen when when the game loads to get the game information, and yeah. So now we play the game and crash our car. We have some score 150, 170 here now. And okay, so yep, cool. So just to verify that this is the thing that we want, this is our body, this is the payload that goes basically um, with our score. So what we can do is we can just see the call stack, and we can see like we can just go to the start of the game, and this is where our game is over. But we don't really care about that. We want to like check some is created maybe at some point after when game is over and your payload is created, but we don't really care about that. We want to update the score in the memory. But how do we do that? Now generally your file is loaded in the memory, and then you cannot modify the memory if you don't have some variable exposed to in the console. um, but you can do something like this. So these are the actual JS files loaded from the network, then into the memory, and then this is where your game loop runs. and the payload is calculated, checksum is calculated and sent to the API server. But when your JS files actually load, you can also inject a JS file. So you modify the behavior of the actual JS files, like the same file name at the same path. So what we did is we injected basically a file. Yeah. If you would see in the overrides, this is our local folder, and we have the script here. It's the exact script, uh, but what we just did is we wanna modify our score here. Now, what I did last time was I modified the score to L dot score is equal to 99999, and they probably have some, I mean, detection tool at the back end, like where some like they check some patterns or something like that. Maybe they also check the time. I mean, 999 is not possible in 1 second. So what we are going to do is we are actually going to modify this to L dot score into 6 just for testing. We will save it, so it's saved in our local file system. We will reload it, so it's loaded in the memory, and the file is actually using um, the modified file instead of their own file that they got from the server. So our logic is running in the game memory now, and we can just try to play the game. So 3000, 3000, this, that, 14,000, 25,000. Great. So yeah, we got it now. Maybe we can multiply it by 10 or maybe 50 or something like that. Also, maybe we can modify the time it took. Uh, So the payload that is sent is like we have a greater time with a greater score. So it doesn't flag their cheat detection system in the backend. And I think, yeah, this is it basically.